Roberto Zerbi is named as the Tottenham Hotspur new head coach on a long-term deal. Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust react to this decision. Paul Barber from Brighton advises that Zerbi is a top-class coach, and Sandro, a former Tottenham legend, says that he's the best manager he's ever worked for. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Lee and this is your daily Tottenham news headlines, where I'll be looking at all the reports, rumours and news coming out today. If you're new around here and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do consider doing that. Like, share and comment in the comment section below. If you're listening on audio platforms, please do give a follow and leave a review if you can. So, on Tuesday afternoon, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club released the following statement confirming the appointment of Roberto Zerbi. We are pleased to announce the appointment of Roberto Zerbi as the men's head coach on a long-term contract subject to work permit. Roberto said, "I'm delighted to be joining this fantastic football club, which is one of the biggest and most prestigious in the world. In all my discussions with the club's leadership, their ambition for the future has been clear: to build a team capable of reaching great achievements, and to do that playing a style of football that excites and inspires our supporters. I am here because I believe in that ambition and have signed a long-term contract to give everything to deliver it. Our short-term priority is to climb the Premier League table, which will be the complete focus until the final whistle of the last game of the season. I'm looking forward to getting onto the training pitch and working with these players to achieve that." Sporting director Johan Lang said, "Roberto was our number one target for the summer, and we are very pleased to be able to bring him in now. He is one of the most creative and forward-thinking coaches in world football and brings with him a wealth of experience at the highest level, including the Premier League." Sky Sports have reported that Roberto Zerbi has signed a 5-year deal, which doesn't include a relegation clause. Zerbi becomes the club's third boss this season, tasked with saving Spurs from Premier League relegation. The club wanted to bring him in when Thomas Frank left, but it was too soon after the Italian had left Marseille on the same day. The club are 17th, 1 point clear of the relegation zone with just 7 matches left to play. Bruno Salta is expected to remain on the coaching staff at Tottenham and work with Zerbi. On the appointment, club legend Graham Roberts said on social media, "Good luck to the new boss at the club. I absolutely loved his style of football at Brighton, and I know talking to Sandro and listening to people like Adam Lallana how highly he's rated even, Jesus. And we will also have unlimited passion and desire with him. We need the players all to be on board." However, on the appointment of Zerbi, the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust put out the following statement. "We note the club's announcement of the appointment of Roberto Zerbi to the manager role. While we recognise a limited pool of managers with the recent Premier League experience and the need to act with urgency as Spurs face the prospect of relegation, the appointment raises serious and far-reaching concerns, as many fans have been in touch with us to urge us to communicate the strength of the feeling. We raised these concerns directly with the club prior to its announcement. The club had previously committed to challenging instances of violence against women and girls and acting with integrity and upholding its values when faced with any incidents. Zerbi's comments about Mason Greenwood were unnecessary, ill-judged and deeply offensive to a significant number of supporters, and without doubt will have left victims of male violence alarmed. We believe these statements left unchecked will create a divide amongst supporters at a time when we all need to be pulling together to back the team. It is concerning that the club would put us in this position right when the team needs fans the most. Fans are rallying behind the All Together Always initiative, and this appointment places a heavy strain on that unity. If those remarks reflect his genuine views, they cast a troubling shadow over the values of the club we love. The club must reassert its commitment to the values that fans hold dear, chief among them equality, respect and integrity. Any perceived sympathy towards alleged perpetrators of physical or sexual violence against women fundamentally undermines trust in the custodianship of the club. With this appointment, communication from the club and from Mr. Zerbi must clearly and unequivocally reaffirm these values. Furthermore, those words must be backed by meaningful actions, including visible and sustained support for women's charities and organisations working to combat violence against women. Our preference would be for a short-term appointment of an individual or individuals who understand the club and can lead the players in the 7 battles to come. There would then have been an opportunity in the summer to attract a wide range of potential applicants with a track record of success in inspiring fans and players. Candidates who could lead to develop and sustain success for the team for seasons to come. The club has chosen otherwise. We will continue to support efforts to get behind the team and play our part in preserving the club's Premier League status, but it is understandable that many fans will do so with a heavy heart. Our 5 principles for Spurs ownership include leading with integrity and championing ethical standards. At present, supporters rate performance in this area at just 2.2 out of 10. This decision risks further eroding confidence unless addressed with clarity, humility and decisive action. We fully understand that the immediate priority is to avoid relegation. However, this situation is a result of a prolonged strategic failings. THST have warned for years that the club was heading in this direction, and the lack of timely, sound, decisive decision-making has now left options severely compromised. It will take significant effort for many fans to restore their faith in the club's leadership. That process must begin with transparency, accountability, and a renewed commitment to the principles that define Tottenham Hotspur. Strong words. Responding to this statement, club legend Graham Roberts said on X, "Does the trust know we are in a relegation struggle and the team needs our supporters to help them with the manager?" Brighton CEO Paul Barber was talking about Roberto Zerbi on TalkSport, and he said, "Roberto is a fabulous football coach and I'm sure wherever he goes, he will do very well." When asked about their differences at the end of their time working together, a mutual exit, Barber added, "Not a difference as such. Roberto did 2 fabulous years with us. We got into Europe for the first time in the club's history. We worked really hard to entertain the fans, which we did, and Roberto is a fantastic character to work with. Obviously, we wished him well when he went to Marseille, and let's see what the future brings for him." And then former Tottenham legend Sandro, "It was Zerbi, 100%. I worked with him and fell in love with him from the first week. He's got passion. He's there every day like a teacher. He practiced a lot, the repetition. He's a manager who wants to have the ball all the time. A very intelligent and very particular manager who thinks a lot about the game. He helps the players and gives them the details they need to hurt the opponent. The club were in a very bad situation, but Zerbi picked up some players to try to improve the team, and I was part of that. I didn't know that I was going to meet one of the best coaches that I've ever had. It was amazing because I learned a lot from him and I really enjoyed playing for him. I saw great things. When I arrived there, I was already an experienced player and I'd seen many coaches. He made me come into games with fire. Like, what's he going to teach us today? What are we going to do? You must be good to do that. I wanted more. I wanted to play for him." So a little bit of controversial elements in there, I guess. So let's just touch on the first bit. De Zerbi is now the head coach for Tottenham's men's team. He signed a long-term deal, reported as being 5 years, and he's on a massive salary, again reportedly around £12 million, second highest in the Premier League. Johan Langer said that he was the one that they wanted from the summer, or for the summer, and they're just happy to be able to get him in now rather than waiting to the summer. Perhaps if they'd have offered these terms back when Thomas Frank left, they wouldn't have had to have had all this struggle in the meantime and put Igor Tudor under an awful lot of pressure to kind of move us forward. And let's hope that they are going to give him the backing that he deserves to be successful at this club, because they don't have a brilliant track record of that. Although obviously the managerial structure at the club has changed this season. His focus is going to be on winning the last 7 games to try and keep us in the Premier League. That's his focus right until the last moment that he can, and then build from there, which is all we can ask for. This is the kind of last throw of the dice. If De Zerbi isn't able to keep us up, then I don't think anyone's able to keep us up. Personally, I would, like the Trust said, which I'll come on to, that it would have been better to have had someone in short term and then maybe gone for a different coach at the end of the season. Presumably they're referring to Pochettino, who's been a lot of fans' kind of choice. But for me, I think we've been there, we've done that. Did it work? Yes, it did for a while. Is there any evidence that it will work in the future? Not really. It's just a case of, would he have got more time? And he would have been less controversial, for sure. So yeah, it's an interesting one, but it does show that Poch was never on the cards. If De Zerbi was always been the one that they wanted, they would say that though, wouldn't they? So we don't know the truth of that. The Sky Sports report saying that he doesn't have a relegation clause. Well, actually, it's been reported that he did have that, and he didn't want to manage in the Championship and so on. But I think given the deal that he's got, it's clear that that's not the case. And he's still going to get that kind of money even in the Championship. So why would he need that? Because, if he takes us down, then it's up to him to bring us back up, isn't it? Graham Roberts, again, his kind of views very much. Graham's a Tottenham man, but his views very much around bringing him in because he is a good manager and he's heard lots of good things about him and so on and so forth. He can only go on what he's told. If he doesn't know De Zerbi personally, he's listening to people like Sandro, Adam Lallana and so on. Well, actually, if they're saying good things, then he's going to listen to that. Graham's a real football man. He's a proper Tottenham fan. I've met him, I've spoken to him, I've interviewed him for a Legends Night. Great guy with some great stories. But yeah, he's a big Tottenham fan, and he will want the best for the club, and he just wants to get in, support the club, and support the manager to take us onto better things. But here's the controversy, right? The appointment of De Zerbi has kind of put the cat amongst the pigeons in terms of things like the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust, Tottenham flags, Women from the Lane, I believe is another one, and Proud Lily Whites, the LGBTQ plus group, have all voiced concerns because of these statements that he is supposed to have made in support of Mason Greenwood. There's a lot of stuff in their story that large numbers of fans and all that kind of stuff. A lot of this stuff that they're talking about is all social justice, all that kind of stuff, political kind of motivation and all that. And I get that, and that's up to them as a group. However, I'm not sure that that's the role of the Supporters Trust to be talking in that way and saying that they represent the fans, when I've seen lots of people on media saying that they're part of this group but have never been asked anything about it. They was never consulted on this statement and so on. So it would be interesting to know who actually makes the statement, who's decided that this is the thing, and what kind of fan base did they reach out to see if this is what people actually think, is this what people want. because they're speaking as if they're speaking for everybody. The same for the Proud Lily Whites. Proud Lily Whites is a great group that looks out for the gay community, the trans community, and so on and so forth. And from my own personal point of view, I don't care who you are. If you support my team, that's great. If you should feel happy and available and able to come to support that football club, whatever that is. But let's be clear, not everybody believes in the trans movement. That it is a controversial subject for lots and lots of people. Some people are uncomfortable with the trans flag, not necessarily the gay pride element, but certainly the trans element and all the other bits and pieces that are kind of added to that. There are people that are that have concerns over that, and so again, that group represents a certain demographic, doesn't represent everybody. And again, if you think about the flags, the THFC flags, who do a fantastic job in trying to create atmosphere and so on. I'm not sure it's their responsibility to talk as if they represent the club or the fans. That they are a group that supports and helps fans show their passion to the club, and they're entitled to their opinion. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have their opinion. The only thing I would say is everybody that is making these comments are talking as if they are representing everybody, and that is definitely not the case. I've seen lots of strong support for the Zerbi online and in different WhatsApp groups or X or Facebook, all those kind of social media posts. There's been an awful lot of support for him, and so I think it's a little bit out of kilter to suggest that there is a massive issue and it somehow degrades Tottenham Hotspur's stance as a face of the community and support for different demographics within the fan base. I don't believe that's the case at all. And in terms of the Spurs ownership include leading the integrity and championing ethical standards. At present, supporters rate performance in this area at 2.2 out of 10. I've never seen that. Personally, I've never seen that. So I don't know where that's coming from, who decides that, how you mark that. So it'd be interesting to understand that. Maybe that is something that they send out in terms of a questionnaire or something, the club I'm talking about. And maybe that is, I'm assuming that is correct. But for me personally, I don't think I've ever had to answer a question about ethical standards around my football club. So yeah, I think it's one of those scenarios where everybody is going to have opinion. I did do a video on my own channel about this just literally today, where I kind of went through the quotes that were attributed to De Zerbi, and I just want to okay, so bear with me 2 seconds. So what he's actually said was, he's a good guy. He paid a heavy price for what happened, a very, very heavy price. He has found the right environment for him at Marseille. We have lent him a hand and given him affection. He's a little bit introverted, but I know him and his family. It saddens me what happened in his life, because I know a totally different person than the one that was described in England. When he was asked about the proposed deal for Greenwood, he said, Mason is a world-class player, but we have not recruited him yet. I don't know what happened, but I am not used to getting involved in players' private life. But if he comes here, you have to know that I will treat all my players like sons. I can tell them off in private, but I would never attack them in public. So whilst I understand that there is some level of controversy, I personally, and this is my own personal opinion, it doesn't reflect the opinions of Chris or anybody else on his channel. So I don't want you to go with that view that I'm speaking for Chris. I'm not. But I look at those comments and I don't personally see any issue with what's said there. As a manager managing a player coming to your club, you have to say the right things. What he's saying is he doesn't really know what's happened. He doesn't know the detail of it, but he'll treat him with respect. He'll treat him like one of his own. He'll talk to him about his problems in private, but he'll never condemn him in public. You wouldn't. How are you going to inspire this young man to improve if you are going to slate him at every opportunity? The fact that he said that he's an introverted character, and what happened and has been reported in England is not necessarily what he sees. Well, he's only going to go on what he sees from the individual. Maybe Mason Greenwood's learned from this situation. Maybe he's had to undergo counselling. Maybe he's had to change his lifestyle. We don't know. The point is, he's talking about his interaction with Mason Greenwood. He's never said at any point that he supports what Mason Greenwood did or any kind of violence against women. So for me, I think this is a little bit unneeded. I don't see the controversy in anything that he said. But again, this is just me. This is just my personal opinion. So you don't have to agree with me. You can have your own opinion. Happy for you to comment in a comment section below and tell me what you think. You know, am I totally out of step? Have I got that absolutely wrong? I am a man of a certain age, so potentially I am totally out of whack with today's society. That happens, right? Just kind of finishing off. Good chat from Paul Barber at Brighton, saying that he's a fantastic character, a fantastic coach. They did have a few differences, but not major differences. These things happen in football. Be interested to see how he gets on at Tottenham, who don't have a great track record in dealing with managers. But that's got to change at some point. The club need to put a stake in the ground and say, yeah, this is it. We're now going to fully throw our weight behind the Zerbi, and we are fully going to go with it, regardless of where this takes us. We've got to hold back from fan criticism and keep going. To do that, they need transparency. They need clarity. They need to engage. They need to show their commitment, and they need to talk to fans. That's why Vinay Venkatesham was brought in, because he has a better relationship with fans than Daniel Levy did. He can talk to us. We've seen it, and so on. It's just annoying that when we're going through trouble, when you need his leadership most, he's become the invisible man. So, Vinay, I know you watch my videos. Maybe a lesson in you there for your son. And finally, just finishing off with Sandro, not necessarily a Tottenham sporting legend, but certainly a character legend. Plays on with James Black very often and does legend stuff and everything. Very much a Tottenham man, loves the club and everything. And his views on Zerbi, show what a good coach he is. If you're an experienced player and someone comes in and motivates you to want to learn more and do more and be committed, what else can you ask for? It's a big, big thing. Man management is one of the biggest elements that inspire people. If you can't teach man management, it's not something you can teach. It's something you either got or you haven't. Now, for me, Thomas Frank never had man management. I found him boring when he spoke. His press conferences were depressing and so on. And so I never felt inspired by him. Potentially, that's what the players have seen. They've gone from Ange Postecoglou, who's known for his man management skills. If you watch his early press conferences, I think we all got behind the hype that he kind of put across. Okay, the later ones weren't very good, essentially because he was being goaded every time by the media, which is something that Thomas Frank never got. He was never goaded, and they've always kind of stood up for him. So interesting that. But if you're going from an Ange Postecoglou type character to a Thomas Frank character, it's chalk and cheese. Now, if De Zerbi is anything like Ange Postecoglou in terms of his man management skills, potentially that could make all the difference, because I think with Igor Tudor, he was brought in to be a disciplinarian. Now, again, that works for some people, doesn't work for everybody. These are young guys that have multiple millions of pounds and have been mollycoddled most of their lives from academy kids. So their perspective on life is totally different to a lot of people. If you go to work and your boss starts shouting at you, does that motivate you? Or would you rather he explained what you were doing wrong, told you what he wanted you to do, explained how to do it, and so on, and put his arm around you and said, I trust you, I believe in you, you can do this. So yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah, interesting stuff today. At least the uncertainty around the manager is done and dusted, and we can kind of move on and get behind the team. Luckily, we've got a week or so for him to spend time with whatever players he's got and get them back together and start implementing his skills, or at least getting to know what's going on at the club and understanding what the problems are. So, long old rant, long old chat. Apologies for stumbling through some of the quotes. It's not always easy trying to read out loud. But yeah, thanks for watching. As always, really appreciate it. And like I said at the beginning, if you're watching this episode on YouTube and you're not subscribing, why not? Come on, it don't cost you anything. Please share the video. Happy for you to do that. Like would be great. Hypes, they're also a good thing to get apparently. Comments in the comment section, great, please do that. Audio channels, we're available on all major audio channels. So please do give that a follow and leave a review as well if you can. My name's Lee the Dorset Spur. I do have my own channel. If you'd like to come across and see what I do, great. I'd love to have you. Very small channel, not on the level of Chris, but I try my best to put out content on a daily basis and keep people up to date with what's going on, and I talk a lot about my own personal views. So if you like what I say, you'll probably like my channel. So thanks for watching as always. I'll see you on the next one. Up the Spurs.